Good afternoon, guys. I can't believe I got a big up from David Yates himself on YouTube. Oh, even at my age, this is hysterical. But the subject's not hysterical, it's not funny at all. I'm continuing to read and do my best to read and give credit to his words. I don't want to bore the listeners, so I may have occasional outbursts, a little bit like Joe Imbriano, but not to his level yet. If you want to know more about 5G and Wi-Fi's and all kinds of stuff, he's more scientific than me. It's all in his head. Mine is reading. But I do digest some of it, and I suggest that we all must digest more. So hence, I'll carry on from yesterday. There's no chapters, I just mark the book and ruin it with my scribbles. So I'm going to carry on. I was talking about 5G, the last video that I did last night. So it's health issues and 5G and a whole lot more. So bear with me. I'll carry on from, I read a bit of this last night, but that's what I tend to do, read where I finished and then carry on. The World Health Organization deemed it a carcinogen back in 2011. So why are we seeing it popping up here, there and everywhere? It isn't an innocent lighting control management system. It's lethal to all life. Every peer-reviewed paper shows this tech to be a Class 1 cancer causer. Not only cancers, but mental health is affected. Health issues across the entire spectrum are cropping up from off of this weapons system. This tech was known way back to cause mental issues in the troops coming into contact with it. And it's the very same weapons tech you will be seeing on a street light near you. 5G is coming soon. It's not rolled out yet, but they're trying. The very same weapons system known to cause increased suicides amongst the military who came into contact with it will soon be surrounded and compounded by the waves from this battlefield crap. Start looking up and around and asking why a street light would ever need an antennae. Research Harvard's 5G pulse modulation system and learn. It's available on the internet and in libraries and books. There's a transmitter system operating all this hardware. Long-term exposure to operating all this. Long-term exposure to just the LED lights alone can result in massive increases, men listen, prostate cancers. My brother died of that in about 2004. Breast cancers, strokes and tumours, heart attack, sudden deaths, infant death, and so on. The truth is they know all this and they're still doing it because they're damn Satanists and evil, wicked people in the pay of billionaires who want to get rid and cull us all. Not just old people like me and David Yates, he's younger though I suppose, but old people. And then they're going to hit the young. If you listen to Joe Imbriano in America, he will tell you the same things that David's writing about and more about the children there under attack already in the schools that are back in, collapsing. Can't say what's wrong with them, very ill. Anyway, let me carry on. The energy being pulsed through these street lights can be directed at an individual. specifically targeting them for a heart attack. Anyone who wears those big headphones and they're linked and they've got all their data, they can zap them, target them. They really can. Wi-Fi waves travel up to and beyond 3,000 feet, more than half a mile. The insurance companies state that 5G Wi-Fi is uninsurable regarding any health issues to humans. Any emission pollutants are not covered. By their own admittance, the insurers then deem this tech a pollutant. This also covers seepage and escapage of this radiation. Remember what I told you earlier about how far this stuff travels? Over half a mile. How then can we possibly avoid any seepage or escapage? That's a get-out clause if you ask me. This stuff carries artificial electric fields, magnetic fields, electromagnetic fields, just to name a few, and they all come under the escapage, seepage nonsense. This is being forced on communities at great speed. We are being blanketed in this phased array of military-grade weaponology. Military studies show biological damage and effects. To get into your home, this stuff must travel not just distances, but it needs to travel through bricks, plaster, insulations, wood, carpets, just to get to you. Don't for 1 minute think that it stops at you and your device. If Wi-Fi can travel through all those things, then it can without question travel straight through you, into your bones, your marrow, tissue and cells. It is a weapon, and it sits not just outside looking all innocent, but inside your homes, inside you. Wi-Fi needs no invite either. It comes and goes as it pleases. It is an intruder, an invader of your privacies and your very being, into your cell structure, into your brain. Think about that. This stuff is being beamed and pulsed at us, well above the safety levels permitted in any labs where they test this stuff. When it comes down to health and safety at our expense, the perpetrators just do not give a toss. This stuff is proven to be carcinogenic, neurotoxic and genotoxic. As far as I am concerned, this is part of the depopulation agenda. We are not designed to cope with this bombardment, nor can we hope to adapt to it or its effects. We are electromagnetic Don't be foolish enough to believe these billions of waves per second that pass through you can't harm you. Do you remember, this isn't in the book, do you remember going for x-rays when you were a child, and when you were, well, I was pregnant, you weren't allowed? But this is worse than that. This is worse than those x-rays. Just a moment, I'm going to close the window because the wind is getting up and it's affecting. Hold on. It's too windy there. Hold on, I can't reach the other one. Sorry about that. It's just the wind is coming. I've got my windows wide. I like the oxygen too. So, okay. Yes, I was saying that we were not allowed when we were pregnant to have x-rays and all kinds of things. Those x-rays are nothing compared to this stuff. Nothing. So if they were worried about hurting us with x-rays, what the heck, who the heck's in control? It's, oh, let me get comfortable. Sorry to take the timer, but I'm no good at stopping a computer and restarting it. Okay. We are electromagnetic. Don't be foolish enough to believe these billions of waves per second that pass through you won't harm you. 5G came to town, bowling all the people down. Will be the nursery rhyme of the future, I guarantee. You can't really miss any of this systematic stuff being foisted on us, and yet, who notices? Chemtrails can't be overlooked, can they? For sure. They go unnoticed though. It is unforgivable that they alone are not recognised for what they actually are. Cell towers everywhere, street lights with illegal LED bulbs, never mind weapons grade pulsing antennae on top, all unnoticed, queues of innocent people getting vaccinations against so-called diseases, and not one person ever questions the contents. Not one ever questions the education system. We are tech and medical sleepwalkers, zombies in a matrix of our own snoozing. Independent engineers do not come near this weaponology. They won't come to test it, check it out, and make sure it is safe. Look at the electrical appliances you buy. They all have a safety tested stickers on them. Guess what? Cell towers and pulsing street lights don't. The only time this shit ever gets tested is by the military, and it ain't about safety. This weaponology is tested to great success in war zones, devised for the enemy, directed at the enemy. Why then are we seeing it both outside and inside our homes and devices? Millimeter waves have terrible effects on our DNA and cell structures. Just 15 minutes exposure each day will cause structural, biological changes to eyes, skin, bone, marrow, cells, leading to cancers, strokes, and heart attacks. Those 15 short minutes each day put all lives at risk. This millimeter wave radiation, when active, is construction of destruction, leading to depopulation. There has been zero discussion with we the people about this tech. If you go into EE like I do, because I have an EE mobile and I have a talk landline and Ethernet connection to this computer, I always hear the salespeople pushing 5G. Yeah, and my MP told us on Zoom that he worked for EE. I wrote to him and I asked him about the chemtrails. I was going to send him this book. David said better to give it to somebody else because he already knows. I bought 2 of these, one for him and one for me. But he's not going to get his. I'll give it to someone more worthy, because if he knows about it, I didn't vote for him anyway, but he's still my MP, unfortunately. Being deployed, we haven't been informed. We gave no consent, except by our being ignorant. We're all ignorant because we've allowed this to creep in by the back door. I'm one of them. We should have been screaming from the rooftops. And then even I've accepted that he's not going to do anything because he's in favour of it. Which says, why did he become an MP? He probably became an MP because he was put there to be one, because of who he used to work for. I've said that publicly now, but I thought it for some time. Tough. I won't retract it. No one is protecting us from this crime, this deadly assault. Who approved it? Is it in writing somewhere? Whose signature's on it? Because we should bombard that person, whoever it was. Through the GMO foods and the heavy metal rich vaccines, plus the ever-present chemtrails, we are now living, breathing antennas. All of us. Cats, dogs, birds, spiders, all living things. Our mitochondria resonates with the Wi-Fi via the aluminium particulates that we all ingested. Destruction of our mitochondria DNA is very rapid and energy levels become depleted. That's why you'll be tired all the time. And you wonder why you're tired. It's due to all this stuff. Heavy metals that we have ingested have turned us into resonating antennas. We are the internet. We gave no consent. Once they decide to increase the Wi-Fi amplitude, God help us! I mean that, and I believe in God. We need more than God's help. We have to help ourselves as well. Shout it from the rooftops what they're doing. That's how you begin. We have to begin somewhere. I've got children and grandkids, all right, they're not near me, but they're in England and they're getting on with their lives. So are yours. But for how long? Labs are deliberately under-reporting aluminium particulate contents. They won't upset the apple cart. Nanoparticulates of aluminium are not naturally occurring. They do not exist in nature. They should stay in the ground. The military admit that in China 5G is weaponized? How do we know that those people we saw in China fall down in the streets weren't weaponized and they blamed it on COVID-19? They could have been testing this on their own people, because there's so many billions of them, they wouldn't mind losing a few in testing real live people. If they don't believe in God, communists, they don't care who they kill, because they're Satanists. Get wise. The military admit that in China 5G is weaponized. They won't admit that here. It probably is. How do we know? What they don't and won't admit is that the 5G being hastily fitted in the UK is the exact same thing. The same as what the Chinese have just had put up. How come they've just cut their link with Huawei, who I had a phone with and soon got rid of that with Samsung now? I don't want anything Chinese, not even Chinese food. Same systems, same body scanners at airports and in courts. These scanners scatter charged particles, and these charged particles cause so much damage. However you look at it, this is electronic warfare. The war against humanity. My common sense tells me it can't be anything else. Most countries are rushing this tech into existence so they can gain dominance over others. This race at pace to not lose face, to me, is a disgrace. All the devices you buy and have fitted are compromised. The smart cars and meters, anything that stores data loses its protection. Smart cities are being built at speed to lure our youth into the iniquitous web being set up to ensnare, entice all souls. Are you joining the dots yet? Imagine how much Wi-Fi radiation you are exposed to in schools, colleges and universities. Fast food eateries are all connected and designed to entice the youth into staying permanently in this wireless soup's loop, sat next to many others who are all connected and helping to spread this invisible wireless virus. Short-term, long-term health issues are a guarantee. Health issues that cannot be reversed, like infertility, damage to fetuses and eggs and sperm, sleep apnea, memory problems, heart problems, and many more, including increased suicides and self-harming, particularly in the youth. Well guys, I don't want to take up all your time. It's almost 25 minutes of recording, so I'll stop here and then I will continue with that theme from that spot in another video. That's long enough for you to put up with me carrying on alarmingly. Sorry.